Respected Manager George Kuriakose sir, Honorable Guest of the Day, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, former CEO and co-founder of Infosys, Dean Professor Daisy Enno, Principal Dr. Geeta CA, Association Secretary Sri Lakshmi. Good morning. A warm welcome to all. The Commerce Association of Nirmala Arts and Science College is glad to announce our 30th association inauguration today. The Nirmala Arts and Science College was established in 2007-8 with commerce and BBA batches. Later, BCom Computer Application and MCom Finance and Taxation were added. The Commerce Association has paved the way and surrounded the development of Nirmala Arts and Science College from the beginning itself. I feel extremely privileged to be standing in front of you all and welcome everyone in this grand celebration. First of all, I would like to welcome our respected manager, George Kuriakose sir, for his immense support he has been providing us for all these years. Today, we are blessed with the presence of Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, former CEO and co-founder of Infosys. There are not enough words in my vocabulary to welcome our chief guest. He is truly a genius in his area of work. The sky is the limit of his reputation. With all respect, the Commerce Association of NAS welcome Ms. Chris Gopalakrishnan sir to our humble meeting. Next, I extend my welcome to our Dean, Professor Daisy Enno, who is the integral part of our Commerce Association. Next, I welcome Dr. Geeta CA, Principal of the college. She has a great vision about our department and I am delighted to associate with her and work under him. Welcome, ma'am. Next, I welcome our Association Secretary, Sri Lakshmi. She helpful to us organize this program in short notice of time. And at last, I welcome all the teachers, non-teaching staff, our dear students to participate in inaugural ceremony of our Commerce Association. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, may I invite the man behind the successful running of this institution, our manager, Sri George Kuriakose, to deliver the presidential address.
Dean Professor Daisy, Principal Dr. Geeta, from the Department of Commerce, Sri Vito Paul, Commerce Association Secretary, Sri Lakshmi, organizing committee members of the program, teaching faculty members, and my dear students. It gives me great pleasure to preside over this function of the inauguration of Commerce Association of our college for the year 2021. Commerce Association provides a platform for the students to exhibit their talents in various commerce-oriented events and will also help them to enhance their analytical and decision-making skills. It gives a platform to grasp teamwork, critical thinking, and creative learning, and also to build self-confidence. The significant and major events of the association include Best Manager, Business Plan, Business Quiz, Marketing, human resource management, public relations, and financial analysis. Unlike previous years, we are constrained to conduct the proceedings of this program online. No plan is perfect. However, striving to make perfection in every imperfection is what really counts and matters. And I believe the organizing committee has succeeded in their effort. Organizing an online program has its benefits also. That's how we have got an eminent personality like Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan as our chief. As we all know, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan is co-founder of Infosys and currently chairman of Axelor Ventures, a company supporting and funding startups. He is currently based at Thiruvananthapuram. He makes every Malayali proud. Once the current situation improves, we hope Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan will make a personal visit to our campus. We have certainly learned a lot in the past few months. We believe we had two alternatives. One, we could remain anxious, scared, and spread the fear and panic amongst others, or we could rise above anxieties and remain as a pillar of strength for others all around us. At this juncture, it was very thoughtful of our teachers to rise above the situation. History will always remember how we behaved and cope with the difficult situation. Our faculty members and students entered into a new world of virtual teaching and learning due to the outbreak of the pandemic. Despite these challenges, our teachers are constantly making every effort to reach out to the teaching learning needs of our students. Congratulations to our faculty members for rising to the occasion. We always believe that the quest for learning is an integral part of humanity. It feeds our soul, stimulates our mind, and opens our heart. Remember, our motto is pursuit of excellence in education. We are all eagerly awaiting and hoping to see you all back in the campus soon. Wish you all a very happy Onam. Let me conclude with my eternal prayers for the universal well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite our beloved principal, Dr. Geeta CA, to deliver principal's message. Welcome you, ma'am.
A warm good morning to one and all. Most respected guest of the day, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan sir, respected manager, Sri George Kuriakose sir, Dean, Professor Daisy Enno, dear teachers and my dear students. Wishing each and every one of you a happy Onam. We are all very grateful to Gopalakrishnan sir, an eminent personality in the IT world, who gave consent to spend his valuable time for inaugurating the Commerce Association of our college. It's a great opportunity for us to hear from such an internationally experienced person. Commerce students have a lot of opportunities, but will have to work hard to reach the destination they seek. I strongly believe that the Commerce Association can assist in the form of guidance as well as career opportunities to support the students for reaching their goals. I am sure that the association will work effectively and productively to attain these goals. Once again, thank you, Gopalakrishnan sir. And I wish to have a special mention to Mahesh sir, who took the effort in bringing Gopalakrishnan sir to this program. Thank you, Mahesh, and thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. No event charms up without a formal inauguration. We are privileged to have with us the Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, former CEO and co-founder of Infosys. Recognized as a global business and technology thought leader, he was voted the top CEO in Institutional Investors' inaugural ranking of Asia's top executives. He has been awarded the Padma Bhushan, the country's third highest civilian honor by Government of India. I consider it a great honor to welcome you, sir, to present the inaugural address and to speak on the session Career Opportunities. Students, if you have any queries regarding the section, you can just type in the chat box and it shall be answered by him after the session. So I'm just handing over the session to you, sir.
Thank you, Dilno. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Yeah. Faculty, students, especially all the commerce students, Sri George Kuriakose, Dr. Geeta, Professor Daisy, Sri Bito Paul, Sri Lakshmi Babu, and my friend Mahesh. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to address you on this very happy occasion. First of all, congratulations to the faculty and students and alumni of the Department of Commerce of Nirmala Arts and Science College on the inauguration of the Commerce Association of Nirmala College. We are going through a crisis right now, and I'll touch upon what are the lessons from the crisis itself, because every crisis, every such event gives us opportunity to learn. Then I will broaden the perspective and talk about what are the opportunities that the future holds based on my experiences in the past, based on what I see today, what is happening today. So I'll talk about the future and then conclude with an interactive session with every one of you. See, we did not expect the crisis and we were unprepared. But I think we have responded very well, and we have, of course, changed our ways that were unimaginable in the in the last 4-5 months. We couldn't have thought about this actually. Before the last 3-4 months, we couldn't have thought about this. In fact, I remember in March I was coming back from Bhutan, and when we landed in the Calcutta airport, they checked our temperature, but little did I realize that that would be the last trip over the last 3-4 months. I don't think any time in the last 35-40 years I've had such a long period where I have not traveled out of Bangalore. We have all embraced digital living faster than we thought possible before the crisis. So clearly, this meeting is over Google Meet. It's an online meeting, and this is an example of we have adopted to digital life, and I'm able to address you without having to travel, sitting here in Bangalore. So the severe crisis changes the status quo, transforms people and societies, and we adapt when we are forced to. And that keeps me thinking, actually, can we not make this part of our regular life? Because in normal life, change happens much slower. But when a crisis happens, we change very fast. How are we responding? We are going out less, traveling less, eating out less, eating less. Meetings and interactions have moved to online platforms. Different states and countries have responded differently. As individuals, we also have responded differently. If I look at the IT services industry, which was the industry I was part of, they have shifted to working from home overnight in a period of about 2 weeks. About 4 million, that is 40 lakh people transitioned to working from home. Of course, many colleges and schools have shifted to online education, including conducting examinations. Again, my by necessity, organizations have adopted quickly. Having said that, majority of Indians work in the informal sector and on daily wages. These people have been severely impacted. So this has exposed the severe digital divide in our society. And each one of us needs to think, how can we reduce this divide that exists in our society? What can indeed we do? Similarly, the death rates in some of the developed economies are higher at this point. The virus seems to create complications in older people with pre-existing conditions. So the virus has exposed vulnerabilities and shows the fissures in society very clearly. It has also created new opportunities. See, the probability of such a global pandemic is actually very, very low. In 2008, we had a global financial crisis. Now, such events are called black swan events, the term popularized by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Black swan event means that the probability is extremely low, but once in a while it happens and its impact is huge, and that's why it's called a black swan event. I've lived through many of these, as some of you would have, probably the older people, the teachers, the professors. We need to build resilience in our organizations as well as in ourselves. I'll talk more about resilience later. Let's take your college itself. Is it fully prepared to go online? Are the teachers trained to take classes online? Are the students equipped to participate from home? Can the examinations be conducted online? And how do we compensate for the informal networks that get built during the time that is spent in the physical campus? We underestimate actually the learnings that happen within a campus, the friendships that happen, the informal networks that they create, that is created, and all of these which last an entire lifetime. In fact, digital always brings us closer, right? And the most active alumni association in my life is the alumni association in my school days. That is 50 years back, and still we are all in touch and we are active. Going forward, I'm sure that colleges would prepare for such an eventuality. That's what I meant by building resilience. Now we will actually build into our plans a transition to digital if need be, and a transition to digital by introducing that into a regular pedagogy of teaching. The crisis tests us and gives us an opportunity to stretch ourselves. We will learn that we are capable of doing much better, doing more with less, completely change our path, understand who our true friends are, and show to the rest of the world that we can take advantage of the crisis to emerge as a leader. This is my learnings from my own journey. After I passed my pre-degree, that's the 12th class, I did not get admission to MBBS. I was devastated and did not know what the future would hold for me. I then switched to BSc Physics. I had to learn mathematics all over again, since I did not study mathematics during the pre-degree program. After BSc Physics, I joined IIT Madras for MSc Physics. During my MSc Physics days at IIT Madras, I got an opportunity to learn about computers, got hooked on to a whole field of computer science, and this put me at the right place at the right time to join the MTech program at IIT Madras, MTech Computer Science, and take full advantage of the digital computer revolution happening between 1970s and now. A Another example, I became the CEO of Infosys in June 2007. Next year was the global financial crisis. Again, I had to work very hard to reduce the impact of this crisis on Infosys, its customers, and employees. By 2011, Infosys grew by 26%, and we doubled the revenue to $6 billion in the 4 years that I was CEO. I believe that you are all much better prepared than we were when we were finishing our education. You are the generation that has grown with digital computing and connectivity. You have access to all the knowledge in the world. The world is really your playfield. You are confident to compete with the best in the world and win. India itself is a different India. Better globally connected with a thriving and fast-growing economy. More important, the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Today, if you have good ideas and are willing to work hard, you can get funded and get support to build your business. Infosys took 23 years to hit the first $1 billion in revenue. Before the pandemic, India had 35 unicorns, which means that there are 35 startups which have more than $1 billion in market cap. And these companies have achieved this in a much shorter period. The future is very bright for your generation. You're riding on a wave of multiple technology disruptions. These are termed disruptions because they will transform industries and change our lives. I've lived through the changes brought about by digital computing. This is what gives me the confidence to say that the world will be even more different in the next 30 to 40 years. Computing will become more ubiquitous. In the next 10 to 20 years, we will have 50 to 60 billion connected devices in the world. Imagine a world where every one of the 7 billion people has a smart personal device. They can connect and control any one of the 50 to 60 billion connected devices. The programming paradigm itself is changing from procedural code to training computers to solve problems using artificial intelligence tools. This will allow us to use the computer to solve problems which we do not know how to solve individually. In every discipline, AI and ML is actually widely being used. We are generating massive amounts of data. With new tools for pattern recognition, we can get new information and insights from this data, especially in the economics, commerce field. I think this will actually become very important. I believe that India is the best place to be in over the next 30 to 40 years. India is yet to develop. Our per capita income is about $2,000, and the size of the GDP is about $2.7 trillion. These will grow to $5,000 per capita and $5 trillion in the GDP size over the next 10 to 15 years. India will become a middle income country. That means more middle class people as a percentage of the total population. As India develops, we will have the opportunity to create a new 21st century development model, not the consumption-led, unsustainable and unequal model of the 20th century, but one that is inclusive, equitable and sustainable. This is your opportunity, your responsibility, and should be your goal. You can lead this transformation. Rest of the world believes in this vision for India, and that is why India is one of the hottest investment destinations in the world. Of course, it helps that we are the largest democracy and have 1.3 billion consumers. Last but not the least, be courageous. Currently, we are facing one of the most challenging periods in our lifetime. Yes, day-to-day life is challenging today. Especially if you're a student, you'll be wondering what the future course for you. But I think this experience will actually make you stronger, make you better, and I think you will be better prepared to face any eventualities in the future. You are going to be strengthened by this. In the future too, you will face challenges. But remember that all these challenges are solved by people just like you. As they solve these problems, they will become extraordinary heroes. And of course, they will get to speak to students in the future like I'm doing to become heroes. Solving extraordinary problems, creating institutions, creating transformations in society. Ultimately, I strongly feel that success should be defined as making people around you more successful. In fact, you need to measure success by the success of people around you. And that's what will make you a leader. I'm going to end by quoting Steve Jobs. When you grow up, you tend to be told that the world is the way it is and your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. Try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money, but that is a very limited life. What it means is that that's not interesting, that's limiting. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it. Once you learn that, you will never be the same again. Now, it's a very important message. Once you learn that the world around you was created by people just like you, you will never be the same again. And I'm actually from around that region, around where you people are all. In fact, Mahesh and my connection is Ramapuram. Ramapuram was where my father was actually. And then we migrated to Trivandrum. All my education was in Trivandrum up to BSc, all through government institutions, Model School, Arts College, University College, and then I went to IIT Madras. My wife is actually from Thudupuzha, which is also not too far away. And so, if I can do it, I can assure you that many of you can do this. You just need to believe in yourself. You need to have the courage. You need to, of course, work very hard, but you can achieve it. Wish you all a happy Onam and wish you all the very best for the future. Thank you very much. I believe we can have maybe a couple of questions, or if somebody has brief interaction.
Students, if you have any doubts, you can just type in the chat box and it shall be dealt by our chief guest.
So the first question is, job opportunities. See, every crisis brings with it significant opportunities. So, for example, right now, there are significant job opportunities in anything to do with healthcare, the whole area of digital commerce, because that's how we are all, buying stuff today. The delivery area, the logistics area, where the logistics people are getting us connected to rest of the world. And in the future, there will be many, many new jobs. 50 years back, nobody would have thought there's something like computer programming, right? Even today, data scientists, curation of data, using data to create inferences, the whole area of data sciences. These are all emerging areas. I know that Nirmala College is actually planning courses in data sciences and things like that. So all you need to think about is what are the emerging areas, what are the emerging technologies, what are the emerging opportunities, and be prepared to learn and take advantage of these opportunities that are being provided. And you will, I'm confident in saying that you will be employed and you will find opportunities to contribute and benefit from these. You don't have to put it in the chat. If you want to just ask the question, unmute yourself and ask the question. That's also fine. And you can even ask the question in Malayalam if you want. I can try and answer in Malayalam, but probably I will switch to English when I answer. So sir, you can ask the question. Yes, sir.
Sir, very good morning. I am Ishwar Joseph from BCom Computer Application, and I have a small doubt regarding this topic. First of all, I am very thankful to this occasion, and we are now facing very COVID situation now. So it is now to get a new secure job easily is very hard, and also especially abroad, because of this COVID situation continues. If there is any chance of work from home job opportunities for abroad companies available, or will they give any chance like that later? Will you please share that knowledge, sir?
The travel is going to be restricted for quite some time. It's not that job opportunities are not there. It's that all countries have become inward facing. All countries are closing their borders to prevent the spread of COVID, infections from COVID, etc. So the opportunities are still there. It's just that travel is restricted. Sooner than later, I believe travel will open up. And as the economy also starts growing again, and which I believe will happen, these job opportunities will come back. Now, having said that, there is a transition to what are called gig workers. These are people who don't work for one company. They work for multiple companies simultaneously. And many a time they work out of their home, or they work from a co-working space, etc. They may work for 2 hours for one company, 4 hours for another company, another 2 hours or 4 hours for a third company, maybe sometimes spend almost 14, 15 hours a day working for multiple companies every single day. You know, it's like Uber, right? You run multiple rides, picking up the job from your computer, from your mobile phone. The same thing is happening in the work space also. It's estimated that in an advanced country like US, almost 20% of the workforce are what are called gig workers now, or 25%. So this transition is also happening, and I think it's good for all of you, but you must be prepared for some uncertainty, because there is an uncertainty when you don't have a permanent job, when you don't have a salary that's guaranteed, etc. You need to learn to leverage your capabilities and skill sets and knowledge more often than not. You will have to continuously learn and keep your let's say resume up to date and relevant. Your skill set should be relevant to the trends, etc. If you're able to do that, you can aim significantly much more. Now, it's estimated that in the taxi space, if you, in the previous model, if you're a taxi driver, if you're earning, let's say, 2,000 rupees per month, by going with Uber or Ola or something like that, before, of course, the COVID situation, they were earning something like 70,000, 80,000. That means they're earning 3 to 4 times what they were earning before. And that's the reason why it really took off. It benefited the drivers, it benefited the consumers, and it benefited the economy because the whole taxi system became more efficient. So, look for opportunities like this, and if you're able to do that, you will be able to do the work from India. Location doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your very informative session as well as the interaction with our students. Next, I would like to invite the Dean of our college, our strongest pillar, Professor Daisy Eno, to felicitate the event. Welcome you, ma'am.
Respected manager Sri George Kuriakos, Chief Guest of the day Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, Principal Dr. Geeta, Head of the Department of Commerce Sri Bito Paul, Senior Faculty Member Sri Mahesh, Commerce Association Secretary Ms. Sri Lakshmi, other teaching faculty members, and my dear students. I am so happy and proud to felicitate the teachers and students of the Department of Commerce for organizing this function. Let me express my congratulations, prayers, and wishes to Commerce Association of Nirmala CAN 2021. Dear students, this association is a huge platform where you can mold future entrepreneurs, managers, leaders, and maybe some scholars organizing programs, both academic and non-academic. Mr. Senapati Gopalakrishnan, popularly known as Chris Gopalakrishnan, is true to his name, is Senapati, in India's crusade for a place in the new world of technology. Like Martin Luther King Jr., when 7 young engineers employed at Pune realized they are young and they have a dream for India, Infosys was born. The rest is history. It was not only a technological revolution they ushered in, it was also a new way of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, the backbone for the growth of individual and state, since has become the order of the day. Sir, you are a role model for new generation. It was a pleasure as well as a privilege listening to your words. Sir, as you have mentioned in your speech, we have the responsibility and capability to make a better India. Thank you, sir, for the insightful speech shaped by your experience and knowledge. A big salute to you, sir, for teaching the young to dream and showing the light. Wishing all of you happy Onam. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for sparing your valuable time here with us. And we really look forward for your support in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Namaste.